Is it all right if I film too? This is like a content from my little YouTube channel.
Of course. I don't have a problem with that.
I've had a YouTube
no
channel.
one's ever done that before, but you know what? That's fine.
Niko?
I'm Niko.
Niko, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for making
He's
time.
just keeps thanking me, but I think that, this is a great story.
Yeah. So how many sheep you have?
Right now, I just have the 3 ewes,
Yes.
dairy ewes, and then my 1 ram, my breeding ram, and he pulls the wagon. With my wagon now, I have 3 anchoring points. I have this anchoring point that I can have 2 split ewes. I have this one, 2 split ewes, and then this back one that I can have 2 split ewes. But what I'm finding is that for their lambings, and I don't need any more than 3. 3 perpetuates the milk year round. I always have milk, and all I need is a half gallon of milk a day, and that's 2,100 calories for a half gallon of sheep. Sheep milk is almost twice as nutritious as goat milk. A half gallon of goat milk only has 1,300 calories. Sheep milk has 2,100 calories for a half gallon, and then cow milk only has 800 calories. It's literally like it's almost 3 times as nutritious as cow milk.
So you're just drinking cow milk. You're just drinking milk.
So for at least 6.5 years, I've gotten at least 50% of my diet from my sheep milk, because I couldn't do it with goat milk. Goat milk gets really gross, in my opinion. It gets the species flavor gets very overpowering. No matter what breed you have, I had like 20 different types of goats. That they say that some goats have less goaty flavored milk, but even the least goaty flavor I can still pick up on. When you drink it day in and day out, it really builds. The sheep milk is awesome. It's beautiful.
And you don't need refrigeration?
I actually have kefir grains in my main bottle. I have kefir grains, and so I don't need to refrigerate them. But when I have a lot, this is my I spray this down. This is my evaporative cooler cheese cave, and it keeps everything down to 55, 60 degrees. It's the same principle as when we sweat and it evaporates off. It pulls heat off of our body. That's the exact same thing. The most difficult things to achieve with a cheese cave is a high moisture, like a 90% moisture is what they need. 55 degrees, 90% moisture is like the perfect cheese cave. And so the moisture was automatically calibrated to that by squirting it down. Like I just take this, and it has an adjustment so that it makes it more of a spray, and I can make it even more of a spray.
So what are you spraying now? What kind sort of?
Just water.
Just water?
Yeah, and so I just do this twice, maybe 3 times a day if it's 100 degrees or more.
Wow. So what's the material?
It's wool.
It's just wool.
Yeah, 100%
It doesn't have any other insulator. It's just
it's 3 layers of wool. I made each. This is 2 layers. This is 2 layers. This is 2 layers. But then I have this 3rd layer around the bottom. So it you know how they say that wool is very breathable but yet insulative. This is like the perfect swamp cooler material. It's beautiful.
And you created it. You did it. You made it yourself.
Yeah. Apparently, no one else that I can find has made swamp coolers out of wool. This is the one that I make for this. My milk bottle for when I have enough milk to do this. She is due like literally any second. I was thinking that'd be really cool if she was lambing while you're here, but yeah, she is literally like she's bagging up. Oh, she's rubbing her head. Did you see when she was rubbing her head over there? That means she's starting to go into labor.
Oh.
Like she's starting to have difficulties. She's got, and this is our poop cups.
So you do that why?
To catch just well, I was selling their poop for a while just to show people that you can do that. Most of the stuff that I'm doing, I do just to show people that you can do it, and then like it's not really like I don't need to make money. I don't really want to make money. I don't want to get. I want to stay as mentally free as possible to do new things, and I don't want to stay stuck on old things. You know, concentrate and focused on old things. So, but yeah, you can sell their poop while keeping the sidewalk sanitary.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, that's great. So, let's start a little bit at the beginning. Like, how did you start all this? How did you get to, what? I don't even know how to begin with, really, because
yeah, I'm not like a normal prepper, as in like I call it selfish prepping. I'm a community prepper. Like I think that I don't want to really. I'm not so interested in trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic situation if everyone around me is suffering. So I'm trying to figure out something like a community, bring up the community so that they can all thrive. And so I saw dairy goats as a key to us having calories so that we could possibly work together and not just rob and pillage each other for the remaining food. So I was part of a group in Ashland that we were working to make it legal so that we could, regular sized backyards could have some food sustainability. It's called urban livestocking laws.
Okay.
And so and my big part of that is I wanted to make sure that we had goats. Like people were just wanting chickens, and I was like, no, chickens are a caloric, rather break even. Like most farmers feed supplement just as much as they're getting back in eggs. If you're harvesting meat, then it's a caloric positive. But dairy is it can be very, very worth it, a lot more worth it than the chickens. And so we got 2 miniature-sized dairy goats under 100 pounds that were allowed after we got that new set of rules to pass. So after 6 months of trying to promote that to the people in Ashland, no one was biting. Like all my friends, friends. This is Rosie.
You're Rosie.
And they weren't being very receptive to it. No one was even talking about getting them. So then I was like, well, of the people that were somewhat interested in it, I asked them if I get a pair of goats and I do a goat share program. Where I'll milk them every single day, but I get all the milk. But if you want to milk half and half, then we can share it. And I got them, and the agreement was that they would have to agree to at least a 1 month minimum. And I got 3 people, and they all broke their 1 month prematurely. So I ended up walking around more and more with my goats, and I was like, I had never intended to do this. I literally never intended to do this, but I ended up having milk and learning how to and getting addicted to making cheese, and then I got my first dairy. I worked on a dairy sheep farm just outside of town, and tasted sheep milk for the first time, and I was like, this is the key, because I knew that it was calorically worth it, but the taste, I was having to kefir all of my goat milk in order to get rid of that the sourness would override the goaty flavor, and so when I tasted the sheep milk, I was like, well, I can just drink this, fresh, and it's way better, and the cheese is way better, and I was working on a farm on that end of Ashland and on this end of Ashland, so I just walk them through every couple days, and I was starting to get a lot of enthusiasm from the community. So they went by and everyone went back and made it so that you can't walk livestock through town. While I was working actually outside of town on this sheep farm, and a friend called me and told me that they had changed that law. But Ashland, they right before they were about to vote on it, they said that, well, we should probably make an amendment for horses, because that's going to basically piss off a lot of the people in town that the richer people that want to walk their horses around. And so right before they made the amendment for horses, one of the city councilors spilled the beans. This is on my YouTube channel. You can Google Ashland bans sheep man, goat man, and they actually say, I just want to make sure before we make this amendment for horses that this doesn't mean that Aaron Fletcher will just be able to get a horse and ride it around town. Totally, everyone was silent for 5 seconds and then changed the subject. and then came roundabout and started making 7 points of discretion for the police officers to be able to make a decision on which horses.
I'd love to hear you talk about this sort of face-to-face look thing, this programming idea you have.
This is another community thing because, like we were talking about, there's a lot of censorship going on with big tech, and so I got shirts made, front and back, and this is to be used in conjunction. The T-shirts mainly are to be used in conjunction with face look meetups, meetups in your local park. And the big thing, besides this efficientizing our ability to connect with each other, is if people just had a cardboard sign, brought cardboard and markers, so that people could write individual conversation topics of interest on them, and then set those signs down over there, and then everyone could gather around those conversation topics like real life chat rooms. So yeah, you can if people had these and poop hit the fan, or they just even if poop didn't hit the fan and half the population that didn't agree with the mainstream narrative got banned from social networking, because all the social networking is owned by Alphabet Inc.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what's going on.
You know what would be interesting for you to talk about this, though, because for number one, you're a subsistence dairy shepherd, or what did you put here? Right?
Yeah. My marker ran out. I spelled subsistence wrong, and so I went to erase it.
It's a common one, actually.
Yeah. And I didn't graduate high school, so I have a hard time communicating with writing. There's the bartering interest is the main thing that I worked in there that really shows where this is going.
So we'll work for local herbs, veggies, eggs, meat, etc. So they kind of explain what you do, because how does it work? So you talk to farmers who want. Can you explain that?
I found that talking to them is not. It hasn't been in the long run nearly as beneficial for me as if I wait for them to come to me.
Okay.
Or say something to me, because
but even
it's like a filter, so I know that they're on my side, they support me, type thing. But if I go out and like I've gone door to door knocking, and they'll work my butt off and not respect me at all, and just completely ignore everything else that I'm doing and belittle it and poo-poo it.
But the idea is that you have a barter system. I mean, you're using your sheep and exchange for getting some local herbs, veggies, eggs, meat, like any extras, right? That you meet needed. Is that right?
Yeah, I have a full scythe business that I wasn't able to work on there. I started this last year. I call it eco lambscaping and scythe service. Lambscaping instead of landscaping. and really, it's a double. This is my happy. It's a double service, because it's not only an end for me to be able to serve my small farmer community, but the hay rake allows for me to I can hack this sweet pea down in a minute or two, and then take the hay rake and rake it up and throw it in the back of the wagon, and then bring it to one of the places that I stay, and that's better hay than anything that you can buy. And I'm also starting to hand harvested hay is another. So I'm trying to I have I don't even know at this point how many different things that I have made money off and I can make money off of. That other people could. It's very easy. I designed this with this wagon with my genius friend Mike Madden. He put this together for $1,800 is what I ended up paying him, because we had to do a number of tweaks and stuff to it. But
can you talk about it? So how does it work? You have a bicycle wheel.
You have to have double. You have to have double wheel BMX bicycle wheels. We've spent thousands of dollars in bicycle wheels just trying to figure out that 24-inch. You need 24-inch because the actual design, you can see here, we had to cut open the bench seating on the side, because it was originally designed for a 20-inch wheel, But we found that the 20-inch wheel was so low that when you tried to bring it off road, even on mowed grass, if any of the grass touches the bottom, I have expanded metal, and the grass goes into the corners of these and actually creates a lot of resistance. Each one of these, the grass blades go in there. In the wintertime, I have cardboard down there for insulation, and I have to, like, if I need to, this is where I go to the bathroom. My vests are you can see like they're sewn at the top. So the whole front is one panel that I cut down the middle, and then the back is another panel. And this is actually 6 years old. I made this with this is actually 7 years old. I made this with her mom. My second dairy sheep I ever had, and I've worn this every single winter. Like, it lasts so, and I have to, like, I've only had to patch this. And if you make it thick like this, then they last so long. Here's a thinner one that I made for summer, and this has lasted 4 years. And I've had to, this is when I was wearing a backpack, so I had to put these on this because it ends up wearing when you wear a backpack. So when you make them thick, wool is surprisingly long lasting, very surprisingly. So yeah, I make panels that are 24 inch by 18 inch. And so you can make a vest, and then the 24 inch by 18 inch panels can wrap around and make sleeves. They're the perfect size for my body. And then I make 24 by 18 inch, makes perfect high water front panel, and then I make a back panel and then cut them down the middle and sew them along the crotch. And so it's like just the perfect size for me to make everything like that.
Later, because you have a domain here, you have a website there.
Yeah.
You want to promote also what you have here written on top?
Yeah. I was telling her, I don't think you heard, but I've had a YouTube channel with very original content for 11 years now.
Yes.
And the second video that I had 1,000 subscribers, and for 10 years YouTube has kept me at 1,000 subscribers. Because specifically the opening, I probably should have did it smarter. The opening of my videos all had a barcode that said 1, 2, 3 home free. So it was starkly anti-consumer, which is obviously not what they're wanting people to do. So I'm learning how to. So yeah, thank you guys for helping to get these ideas out there.
No, it's part of what we want to do too. So it really works. I mean, you have to thank us.
Good timing.
So, show me. So wait, there's so many elements here.
Yeah, I know.
Tell me a little bit more about the cart. The different. Yeah, because I think something comes down here. Yeah, maybe we can bring that up again. Up right here.
Oh, okay. So
the phone right up.
What's up?
I was gonna have him bring the camera back up here. So
Yeah.
it's wiring.
So Mike, that helped me design this. He's a genius, and he was a set designer at the Shakespeare Festival in Ashland, and so he knows how to make these very lightweight panels to be able to move the walls and whatnot of the sets.
Does that move?
Yeah, this is my bed. But right now he tried to have it ready, but he's a little older and he's got some health issues, so he wasn't able to have it ready.
Nice.
But what he's making right now is a three board bed, and the middle one will actually has legs on the bottom that this is his idea. I wanted a fold up with a table that folded out, right? But he's genius. He said if we make it to where there's a pin on the hinges, on the hinge on the back, a pin that you could just pull out that has a wire attached, so it'll just dangle after you pull it out. Then you can pick it up and have a fold out legs, so that it's a full table instead of a little. Because otherwise the fold out would have only been this big of a table. It would only, because of the height that it's at, it would have either had to fold down or fold up, in which case it would only be half length. But he figured out how to make a full table, and the legs on this side are going to be only this far apart, so that the people that are sitting, the person that's sitting on, there's going to be 24 inches, about that big, and this one's going to be that big, and so you'll be able to get your legs in and out a lot easier, because the two legs right here will be very close, and they'll be attached, so that you can just with one hand pull down and set it down And
Can you show us how you lie down? Like how it works as a bed, just how you fit?
oh yeah, no. Well, I have my stuff. Usually, my vest or my pillow.
Oh, okay.
And I have this. I have. I didn't know what you wanted me to show, but I have like self-defense stuff back here. So
Can you explain that as well? Like, what do you need for self-defense?
If you do you think that's a good? I didn't think that you're.
I mean, you can sort of see that you have a gun, right?
Yeah, I couldn't really hide that.
So is that necessary? I mean, explain that, because I mean that's important, right? Like,
yeah.
Like
Well, I hunt with that, and I kill vermin on the farms.
Okay.
That's like one of the services that I provide. Like this farm that I'm working on right now has been eight raccoons that are killing their chickens and stealing their eggs and totally devouring their fruit trees. They have like a little orchard.
Okay, so it's less about self-defense for you and more about just like.
No, I'm a prepper again. So I have like a lot invested in protection of this wagon and whoever's farms I'm working on if crap does hit the fan.
Okay.
There's actually thieves and stuff on some of the farms that I work on. I work for some marijuana growers and CBD growers, and I just stopped someone that was trying to break in the other day. So.
So in general, though, but back to you lying on the bed, like, so you would normally what? Just lie down?
That you can just imagine that this is the vest like that, and my head is a little bit goes all the way. I'm actually laying like a foot down further, but yeah, I can totally stretch out because this is 6 foot and I'm only 5.5 foot, so I can totally stretch out. But I keep my my backpack right here so that I can use it as like a chair because my grain grinder is mounted, and it's really comfortable like this.
And you sit and read. Looks like you have a book here.
Yeah.
You have a lot of felted pieces there too as well. What are those?
Yeah, I have so all the
Sorry.
like the what do you call it? The pieces that I have left over after making clothes. That's also another service that I provide, is making stuff. This is my curtains from last winter. A piece for my curtain.
So insulation.
Yeah. It's really, really nice. It's breathable, but
because it gets cold here, it snows, right?
yeah, not nearly as cold as any. This is really nice weather in Oregon.
Okay.
It's it rarely gets below freezing.
Okay.
But
still, it's not warm in this. I mean, how do you fare in the wintertime?
I have a stove, a mailbox stove that I put. This moves into the back to this back wall, and I mean, I didn't have this. I had another cheese cave that I was keeping my cheese in, but it wasn't an evaporative cooler like this. So I keep my cheese in the back, away from the stove, and then notice this wall is gone. That's because I put a piece of angled sheet metal that goes down and then goes across the bottom of the floor, and then I have screwed on a thin piece of sheet metal on the bottom of the bed, and you can see where before I put on that sheet metal where it started to burn the bed, and then the stovepipe goes up and out this, and then up 45 degrees up, and I stick a like a garden stake. I found like it was actually I think it was like a shish kebab skewer. I shoved that in there and then wired the stovepipe to it so that when this bed is dropped down, I can sit right here, or I can still sit here in here, and it's
and cook.
Oh yeah, I cook on that.
Okay.
But also I have three forms of cooking. I have the mailbox stove in the winter. I have this year round. It's a have you guys heard of secondary combustion stove?
No.
It's got these holes you can see on the inside at the top, and basically what it does is it's double walled, so it pulls in air through there and obviously up through the bottom of the fire, but also up through the double wall, so that by the time it gets up to these holes, it's superheated, and then the oxygen is superheated, and so when it comes out, that any smoke that was rising from that gets double combusted again, so you don't get any smoke coming out of it, and it's a lot more efficient. Like the flames are like this tall out of it, whereas if you just had a billy can, just like a coffee can, the flames are like this high, and there's a lot of smoke. And so this is really efficient. This is called a solo stove. This is like $50. and it's gonna last like. It hasn't started rusting yet, and at all. So I'm assuming that's going to last at least 5 to 10 years, especially when it does start rusting, if I sandpaper it down and then put some barbecue grill spray
Did you
on
say
it.
what the fuel was?
Just wood.
Oh, just wood.
Sticks, yeah, sticks.
So
And then,
I have a question for you, Aaron.
yeah.
So since you are off the grid and on the move, so how do you, when you need power, for example, for your telephone, how do you charge it? You have any equipment?
I have this battery is absolutely awesome. I've been using this for over a year now, and it hasn't formed any memory that I can tell. Anchor.
Yeah.
It's got this is the first thing that I've ever had with a USB PD. It's a super fast charging. This whole thing charges in 2 hours, and gives me like more than enough power. It'll keep my stuff charged. I only have 2 phones. This is my old phone that doesn't have a working cell phone antenna anymore. It broke, and so I have a second cheap phone.
Yeah.
So I only have 2 phones. That's all I have, electronic wise, and so it keeps both those charged for like a week.
For a week. So every week you have to charge the charger.
Well, I have a solar panel too.
You have a solar panel.
Yeah, I have a
okay.
solar panel, and then with the stimulus check, I just got a water lily. Have you heard of those?
No.
It's a little. It was supposed to be in by now. I don't know. It's like about that big, about that thick, and has strings attached to it, and you drop it in a creek, and it's a turbine. It's a water turbine.
Ah, yes.
But they just came out with a new version of it. They just did a Indiegogo or Kickstarter or something like that, and I was like their like someone that put money into it, and so they should be sending out soon. It's an adapter. It's a wind water lily, so you can use in the water, or you can attach these little fins on it and attach it to the wagon.
your wagon.
Yeah,
Right.
and it'll give you wind power.
So you'll have small solar, small wind
Yeah.
to charge your battery, and your battery charges your phones.
Yeah. Or just charge the phones directly off those things.
Oh, directly.
Yeah, because in the wintertime, the solar panel doesn't do anything. It's not even really worth using in the wintertime when it's overcast here, when the sun's like way over there.
Is it in there? The solar panel?
Yeah, this is an important thing. This
Okay.
is my shower. This is one of the things that I'm very, very impressed with. You got to keep in mind, I'm an anti-consumer. Like, I'm impressed with this consumer product. Like, I advocate people get this thing, especially if they're trying to do what I'm doing. So this thing is it's got a mister for staying cool, and you can do anything all the way to like a stream that has a lot of pressure. But I have a wire right here that I just attach it, and it becomes a shower. Like that.
Okay.
And so I just sit here. I like to just do it in here because I can do it with that shut, but I just do and am able to get everything. And yeah, it's really cool. And it's all metal construction, so it's I'm able to put it on my stove. So, and I colored it black, so it's able to solar heat in the bottom of it is very efficiently made for heating it up by the stove. As you can see, it's domed. So any heat that would round out around the edge just gets caught, and it just heats up so fast. Like I can literally heat that thing up to 105 degrees in like 5 minutes with a handful of sticks. It's so efficient.
So great. What did you say the name of it? What is it?
That is nothing more than it was only $50 too, $40 at Home Depot. It's actually a herbicide sprayer. Yeah. It's an herbicide. Yeah, it's
So smart.
it's so easy, and check this out. Like, you can just take it, and I tell people this is my sink.
So the pressure is so great because you don't have to use much.
This is a sink too, but
Yeah.
this is and this isn't even. You can see this is this pressure. I take showers at 50. I spray painted over that, or at 30, I guess it is. 30, where the green starts. I pump it up to green so you can see how many times that takes. It doesn't take much at all.
So you only need human power.
Yep. That's my shower pressure right there. And
you don't need any power to do that.
No, and that thing has lasted me. I've used it every single day for over a year. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a consumer product. You should probably, anything that I'm advocating is something that you can buy, and it's going to be good. Like, possibly, like if you got the only thing that I thought was going to go wrong with that is washers, you know, or like not washers, but seals, like rubber seals. It hasn't happened, and I've used this I've completely deformed the top of it and crunched it down because I use it as a tire jack. Before I got really good tires, I was having flat tires like constantly, and so I use that. I pick up my wagon and shove that underneath as a jack, and it squished this down, and I put that thing through hell and using it every single day, and it still works just as good as it did the day I got it, and it's so awesome. I love it.
It's multi-purpose. Yeah. So it's a sink, it's a shower, you palm your wheels with it, and it was designed for another purpose.
Yeah, it was designed for spraying weeds. I spray my sheep down with it in the summertime with the mister, and myself to keep them cool. That's a huge thing for this hot weather.
Very, the pressure makes it very, very
fine. Yeah, it's very fine. It's
Wow, look at that.
It's awesome.
It's misty, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
So you said there are 12 things. You mentioned a couple. What
yeah.
else?
The other thing is, you were asking when we were touching on my kitchen.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new forms of solar ovens called solar evacuated tubes?
I don't think so.
They're very, very impressive, and they're something that'll last you your entire life. Like there's nothing that can go bad on them. This is my kitchen drawer, I guess. Okay. This is my wok. Wok is another thing that you need because you need to be able to winnow seeds. Like I got a bunch of seeds that I collected. This is the other day, and I can't do that without a wok. This is called. This is one of the brands called Go Sun, and these are called solar evacuated tubes. This is a rather new technology that I'm really trying to promote and get out to people. Like, I'm really promoting it to the homeless. Sorry, it's really dirty. No. I'm really promoting it to the homeless advocates, homeless advocates, because we just had a fire. So the homeless we're having a really hard time with homeless setting fires accidentally and intentionally, the mentally disabled ones. This is a solar oven that uses these rather unorthodox trays, but it's very, very efficient, like super efficient. So efficient that I bake bread in the wintertime. And so this is one of the things one of the consumer items that I promote. Being an anti-consumer is saying a lot again.
Are you thinking about making plans or just putting up some instructions or offering your
I just have a YouTube channel.
People?
That's the only thing I can think of to help. As soon as I can break through the algorithms, then it'll do its job.
Awesome, because that would be probably something people would be
interested in. So are there others in there? It's dark?
Yeah, this is other what?
You mentioned 12. I'm like, I was missing
this. I'm really in love with this for grinding my herbs. I originally got this when I was living out of pack boxes because I didn't have the capacity to have a full-size grain grinder. It takes like 20 minutes to grind up to make enough flour to bake bread, whereas my hand grain grinder I make enough flour in like 2 minutes, 1 minute. It's so fast, it's awesome. But this is perfect. I can't grind up fresh herbs with the big grain grinder because the wheels are so big that they'll just absorb most of it, and I don't have that much to be putting through it. And so this is this cute little wheel, and you can tighten it down and make it finer, or it was set for just my pepper right now. But putting my rosemary through it for my potatoes is something I use like every.
Oh, that piece, yeah.
Yeah, I use like every day.
So you mentioned you mentioned seeds, herbs. Like, do you have some of those? And can you talk about that? Like getting what you
this
actually
is my neighbor's eggs, or my farmer's eggs. This is these are some wild. It's some wild grain that I found down at the it's not fully finished. I got to grind it. I have my work gloves in it, and I grind them and then put them in my wok, and then on a windy day, bounce them, and then it blows out the shape. Yeah, I got this is wild mustard seed. This is I make mustard. Potatoes is the main thing that I get from the what I call the artificial economic system or shitstem. But
because like these are you
this is
foraged.
Mustard. This is mustard from, and I'm testing this. I just started making mustard the other day. I used my sheep's soured whey with this ground up mustard seed and a little bit of salt. And it settles. As you can see, it's like liquid and then the paste. But I mix it up with a spoon, and it's after I made this a month ago, and it's got nothing but spicier. It tastes like it's not going bad because it's probiotic. It's like as long as I let it breathe every once in a while, then and stir it up, then it's actually becoming more and more like a wasabi. Yeah. Like there's never any mold growing on it or anything yet. So I'm kind of testing to see how long this without refrigeration. I'm not even keepking it in the refrigerator.
But that's the power of fermentation, right? I mean, you're doing that with your cafe. You're doing that with the mustard.
Yeah.
You know?
Fermentation is everything. Because we're more microbes than we are our own human cells, is what they're finding out now. And so it's important to restock your body with healthy microbes. This is wild parsley from outside Ashland that I collected last summer, and it is one of the herbs. A lot of herbs will lose a lot of their flavor within the first 6 months of having them, especially unrefrigerated out in this weather. But this, I am surprised. It is the longest lasting herb. Rosemary doesn't even keep that long. I got rosemary and I got to collect that every couple months because it starts to lose its flavor. But we got this is fennel. Fennel stays good too for a long time. Oh, and I started vapping down my so after I make cheese, after I make sheep cheese, then you have your whey left that has a little bit of cream left in it, and you boil it, and then that creates ricotta. The ricotta will rise, and then I scoop that off, the ricotta off, and then I put it into my solar oven, and I roast it. Basically, I dehydrate it, and this stays good for a really long time too. It still hasn't gone bad, and I made that one 6 months ago. I don't want to eat it all because I want to continue to see how long it lasts. Here's some more mustard seed. These are a spicier version. So this one's like a tasty, very full flavored one, and this one has no taste other than spice. So I mix them, and then this is this is low fat ricotta, roasted ricotta. After I've taken the butter out of it, and then this is full fat ricotta, and this is really good. Like this is, and again, it doesn't go I thought that this one would go bad first because it has the oil still left in it. But it's still good. I'm still sprinkling it on salads, and it's freaking amazing. So yeah, ricotta. You can take your whey and you can make you can save your whey, and you can also reduce it down to like a syrup. So I have a syrup that I squirt over salads. So you can do a lot of things with whey and with the milk. Besides all the varying cheese that you can make. The whey leftovers, you can also make a spectrum of a dozen different products.
Wow.
And
it's great because a lot of this stuff is so gourmet.
Yeah.
You're eating things that are fermented products are very expensive, and they're
gonna get more and more important because people are because of the studies finding out that we're more foreign microbes and we're more a colony than we are a single individual, and so we need to keep the diversity up. And there's kefir, there's at least 27 different microbes in yeast, bacteria and yeast, in that.
So you have your sleeping bag or something in there as well?
My sleeping bag is in the back, and then my winter clothes are behind that.
Okay.
This is my one of my cheese presses. This where did my?
Nice.
This is my big cheese press. It's all in one. I advocate this. This was like $30, $50 maybe. It's called a Mad Millie cheese press, all-in-one cheese press, and it takes up no weight, takes up no space, whereas every other cheese press takes up a lot of space, and it's made out of something heavy. This is my other cheese press / kefir. I got a piece of this is going to be like a brie, like a white rinded brie. It's
You can smell it. It smells like cheese.
yeah, it's got parsley in it. I got wild parsley in it. That's what the green is. But this is such a fine screened sieve that I can pour kefir into it that's thickened, and it will leach the whey out and become kefir cream cheese. So this is another these coffee these are just coffee filters. That's all that is that's all that is people use their coffee presses so that the coffee grounds don't. It's a coffee filter.
Yeah. And it takes you how long to make cheese?
To make cheese or the kefir cream cheese?
Or the kefir cream cheese or the cheese or any of these products.
When I pour kefir in here after it's already thickened, it becomes like really thick and it just keeps getting better and better, and it stays good without. I could make a sleeve out of that really easily, but I found that like in 100-degree weather, it continues to get better and better up to a week, and then once it gets a lot of the bloomy white rind mold on it, which is the same white rind that geotrichtum is what they call it. It's the same mold that grows on Brie cheese. Once it starts to grow too much of that, then it starts to liquefy like Brie cheese.
Okay.
And I like that for some things, but I like it right before it gets to that stage. So like, yeah, without refrigeration, you pour kefir in there, and after a week and a half, it's gotten nothing but better. And then past a week and a half, it turns into Brie, basically. She's filling this up 3 times a day at least, if not 4 times a day, depending on how much I feed her. So like everything that I'm doing is trying to maximize their, giving them new salad, basically. Because if you continue to give them new salad, then they'll continue to eat. And if they continue to eat, they'll make measurably more milk.
But normally you're moving every few days, or how does it work?
If it was up to them, they would be moved constantly. And if I don't move them, like if I stayed on this property for 72 hours, the milk production would drop because their interest would drop, and they would. I'd give it actually 48 hours for what's here right now and all of its stages. After 48 hours, they would start to deplete. Her milk production for next day is going to go up because I brought her off of that property that I had her on for 3 days, and it was something that she has had regularly off and on, so she's not really that impressed with it. But yeah, the whole design of this is so that I can walk them around continually, ideally, and absolutely maximize their milk production for survival. Not just survival.
So you would, but normally you're a few days a couple days in one spot, and you move, and you.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. Yeah, exactly. A couple days at max.
And in a radius of how many miles?
I haven't taken this wagon out of the valley, but before that, I've walked my sheep out to the Applegate Valley. I've walked them all the way up to, was it not Roseburg? All the way out to the coast. I forgot where we cut over.
So how many miles?
And then I've walked them all the way up to Washington. I've walked JC here by herself all the way up to Washington, and we surprisingly got only like 21 miles of hitchhiking. Like, it was surprisingly hard. That was like the first journey that I ever did, like outside of the valley with my dairy sheep. In the summertime, we were able to carry 10 gallons, and up to 10 gallons is what we carried. And then in the wintertime, they literally don't drink any water. Like, I literally cannot get my sheep to drink water in the wintertime because their grazing habits are so much lower to the ground than goats. That's one of the reasons I switched to dairy sheep also, besides the milk, is that their water requirements, they're actually in the camelid family. They're related to camels. So they're able to, especially mine are fat-tailed Wasi, so they store, she's not a fat-tailed Wasi, but these two are. they store fat in their tail, and they actually store a molecule of water enveloped in the fat like molecule. I'm not using the right terminology, but they store water inside fat so that they can access that as a reserve. And in the wintertime, they graze so close to the ground that even like dew, if it's not raining, there's always dew in the wintertime in the mornings, and that dew sticks around at the soil level, at the very low levels. It sticks around until like noon. So they're grazing and drinking at the same time, whereas a goat will be picking off of all the tops all morning, and he won't be getting any water. So
do you get tired of this lifestyle? I mean, it's probably
no. It's going to be so, and it's going to be so much better once either the economy starts to become unstable enough perceivably to everyone else to get in the same mind frame that I have been in for 10 years that got me involved with this. Once people start to do this, it's already started to happen. Have you heard of pack goats? Pack goats is becoming a very big movement.